Hi folks, and welcome back to another video here on my YouTube channel. We're back in the Marvel Heroes game. It's currently sitting in open beta. It's Sunday night. It'll be closing on Monday. And I've done two videos on it recently. I've wanted to go ahead and do a third to kind of explain one of the key points about this game that I think Gazillion is doing right. And that is crafting. When it comes to crafting in a lot of games, what are you going to do with your gear? Well, let's take WoW as an example. Let's say you're at 90. What are you going to do with gear? Well, the first option is if you're not an enchanter and you get gear that you no longer need or you're not going to need, what are you going to do? You're probably going to sell it. If it's of your armor type or weapon type that you use, maybe you'll even transmog it. So you'll store it in a vault or store it in your bank, and those are your two choices. If you're a disenchanter, you have the option of selling items for gold, or you can disenchant it. If you're a high-level enchanter that's been maxed for a while and are in a guild with a good vault system, you're probably not even going to need the mats anymore, so you might go with the default of selling it for money. Well, this particular game over here gives you a ton of different options, and I think they do everything right. So one of the first things we're going to take a look at is
I stand ready to assist your selection.
Bumping up your vendors. If you look over here with Jarvis, you'll notice he says rank 3, and he has a little experience bar over here. If you visit a vendor and you hold down Alt and you mouse over a piece of gear, if you look very carefully, it says sell price 140 credits. Now I can sell it to Jarvis and I can get 140 credits. Or if I hold down Alt, notice how it changes to experience. Basically what'll happen is this experience bar will grow if I donate items to him. And as he goes up in level, he sells better and better gear. Now this little refresh over here is, you have several pips for how many times you can refresh him in a given amount of time. This is good if you happen to be on your Daredevil and you switch to your Hulk and you want to see Hulk stuff over here. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what that looks like over here. Now what's kind of neat is my Hulk was actually a drop the last night that I played. I started with Daredevil when I made the account. I spent a little bit of money in the shop. Well, not real life money. I should take that back. I spent some credits on getting Miss Marvel in the shop. And then the Hulk was actually a drop for me. So I thought that was kind of neat that I actually found a character. Imagine you're playing World of Warcraft on your druid and you find a mage. It's kind of neat. So
let's take some measurements, shall we?
now here I am talking to Jarvis. He still has Hulk stuff, so I hit refresh. A pip goes away, and now he's selling Daredevil stuff, and he's selling greens at my level. That's not a little cheesy level 5 green that he's selling over here. That's an upgrade in defense. So as you can see, I mean, look at that. That defense on that is incredible. But I like Taser Club, and that's +2 to Taser Club, not Taser at level 2. So that's actually a really good mask to keep. And you can see these boots. I mean, this is a great comparison of green to purple. Look at the defense on the green compared to the purple. So those purples are aging, but they've got a little bit of value to it. So I probably wouldn't change it out. So that's one thing you can do. Well, that's actually two of the things you can do. You can sell things to the vendor, or you can donate it to a vendor and level him up. Now here's a vendor that I haven't worked with. This is a weapon vendor. As you can see, he's fairly low. Jarvis is on a different vendor experience scale than this guy, so he's only a level 1, and you know, he's about a quarter of the way through. My Jarvis is level 3. The other thing you can do is visit Goliath, and you've got several options with him. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a few things here. I need a simple one of these. I need a simple one of those. Gonna get 3 of these. And we're gonna get 3 of these. Okay, so here are your enchanting mats that drop in the game, or your crafting mats. So you don't disenchant gear in this game, saying taking World of Warcraft as the example again. You actually get these as drops. You start off with the simples, and then you combine them to get the primitives, you combine the primitives to get the ordinary. So it's sort of like the scrap metal in Team Fortress 2. It's actually, they probably have taken a lot from the crafting system of Team Fortress 2, if you think about it. It's pretty similar.
Some of these are a bit untested.
So here's Hank Pym, Goliath, Living Laser, whomever. He's your crafter. Now, one of the things you could do is, again, take a World of Warcraft. In WoW, your crafting gear is isolated to a block. Alright, let's take Pandaria. You have your mop block of enchanting elements. They exist in the 85 to 90 realm. Then you have your Cataclysm ones from 80 to 85. You have your Wrath ones from 70 to 80. Your TBC ones 60 to 70. They don't upgrade, so if you're doing Cata-related content and you get enchanting mats, there's no way to get it up to mop stuff, really. That is different in this game. My Hulk is a drop. He's very low level. I was just out leveling him to kind of catch him up and get a feel for him. I was getting a lot of these simple elements. Now, if I want to do something with these, I can just hit Craft Primitive, right click, create.
New look, same hero.
And there you go. So now I've taken those 3 low levels and made a mid-level out of it. And before I do for the rest of the gear, I'm going to show you things. The other thing you can do is you can tweak your costume. So over here, Daredevil Modern Costume. There's no stats on it. It's just my costume. Now, if you look, I have this, Ordinary Unstable. I need 2 Ordinary Unstables and my costume, and I can add a little bit of an offensive boost to it. So, let's see if I've got some more of them handy. Nope, not going to have enough to do it. I need a couple more of those in order to do it. But I do want one of these. Okay. So let's go back and visit them. So now you're kind of seeing what some of the enchanting or crafting mats are good for. This right here requires fundamentals, which just opened up. This is the only time I've really ever seen a need for credits in this game. Once you've gotten your first character up to level 6 or 7 and you're not really buying anything from the vendor, you don't really need credits in this game. Money is not really the option, so you're probably better off donating stuff to your vendors. Now, if you look over here, my Pym is rank 4. That's because I've been donating a lot of stuff to him. He's really good to focus on. I kind of like working on the armor guy, not too much the weapon guy, and him. He's definitely my go-to guy for donations. I sell a little bit, not a lot. I mostly donate to this guy for goodwill over here. But, okay. Costumes. If I had enough of these, what I could do is get a boost to the costume, and I'll show you because I've done it on my Miss Marvel. If you look at my Miss Marvel over here, her costume has a 5% chance to freeze on hit with a basic power. That is because
a lot of progress lately.
I did this. I took 2 Ordinary Unstables, took my costume, I combined them, and I have this little boost over here. I could have also added a defensive one. Now, once you level up your Pym enough, you get the next rank which takes 5,000 per boost, this is where you start really needing credits. But it's going to be a while before I start getting those gear mats. So, the other thing you can do, now this is really where this game shines in terms of hand-me-down related things. When you're playing, again, let's take World of Warcraft, a lot of stuff becomes soul-bound, so it's really hard to get things from one tune to the other. Even if it's not soul-bound, it's kind of, it's probably very rare that you are on, let's say, your 90 Druid and you get a drop that your 87 up-and-coming Pally is going to need. It's possible. Doesn't really occur that much, and you've got to sit there and stick it in the mail, send it out. Maybe you can put it in the guild vault on the one character, pull it out on the other. You've got to somehow ship it to that person. Well, all your characters in this game share this inventory right here. It shares that vault. So, if you're on your Miss Marvel and something dropped that I want my Hulk to use, I just leave it in my inventory and I hit T and I switch to the Hulk. There it is. So that eliminates the transfer shenanigans that you have to do. The other thing is, let's say these clubs over here are no longer needed by my Daredevil. He's outgrown them, or it has stats that he doesn't really need anymore. So let's just say, alright, let's go back to my Hulk, because he is my lowest. As you can see, he's a level 3. So I really haven't done a whole lot of work with him. I just maybe spent about 20 minutes running around with him.
Some of these items are quite fragile, Hulk.
Okay, so if I click on this, you'll see that I need a simple nanotech and a simple PIM. I've got those two right here. Pretty cheap. They're the lowest level. So, I don't need these anymore on my Daredevil. So I put it there, right click, create. Now this takes a little bit longer. I can walk away and I'll actually get a notification that my vendor's done. Now take a look at this. I have turned Billy Clubs from my Daredevil into a Rage for my Hulk. This is a fantastic idea. I think Gazillion has really done something fantastic with this. It solves the problem of gearing up a lobby. You can log on to a level 1 that you've just bought or found or whatever, and have him have 2, maybe 3 pieces of gear that are completely fantastic for him. It's sort of like the shared vault in Borderlands 2, but better, because now I've converted a Daredevil only item into a Hulk only item. Now I don't particularly need it. Let's see, 1 damage, 1 attack speed, 5 actually this is a little bit better. 2 to Furious Punch, let's see. It's situational. It's about the same. It's probably a little bit better overall, but this ground smash over here does a tremendous amount of damage, I've discovered, so I would probably want to keep that. But I could also do this with gear. So that is really, really nifty that I could sit there and take something that one character no longer needs and convert it and use it on a different character. Now you do run into some items that become locked. Like as you can see over here, this is locked to my Daredevil. I can't equip that. There's nothing I can do about it. However, this, which I found on another character from defeating Shocker, I could equip this on my Hulk. So now that's bound. There's nothing I can do about that. I can't give that to another one. But all this other gear, technically I could. And that's I understand why the game has done it, because unlike, say, World of Warcraft, where you have leather and a druid could use it and a monk could use it or a rogue could use it. Gear in this game is only per superhero, so something that drops is only going to work for the Hulk. And it's only going to work for the Daredevil, or only going to work for Spider-Man. So this conversion at least allows you to get things in the hand of the person who is actually going to use it. So I think that is kind of neat that you could do it. It offers up a tremendous amount of options for what are you going to do with gear when it drops. You're out and about, your inventory's full, what are you going to do? Well, one thing that's easy is this button will this is essentially like a town portal in Diablo. Wherever you are, you just hit it, you come back to the Avengers Tower. If you hit it again, you go back to where you popped it. Fantastic. I think it's great. Doesn't have a cooldown, doesn't take up a town portal or, teleport scroll or anything like that. So, early on, I'd say sell your stuff to get a good credit base so that you've got enough to get kits and maybe a little bit of vendor greens if you want it. After you think your credits are running relatively good, probably around 1K, 1500, donate your stuff. Start donating it to Pim, donate it to one choice of either the weapon guy or the armor guy, and stick with it. You're probably better off selling your grays and donating your greens and your blues, stuff like that. Purples, as you can see, there's a need for keeping purples. So if you're on a Miss Marvel and you get a purple for Daredevil, you don't own a Daredevil, but you have a lower level Hulk, hey, convert it. Take that Daredevil item and convert it into something the Hulk can use. So, I really should not be on my Hulk in this area. Apparently, it took me to the level of where my main characters were. Now, I've discovered that my Hulk is extremely powerful. I've got to get him out of here, like, real quick. Alright, I'm going to switch him out, but I'd like to spend a little bit of time showing you my Hulk, but I'm over here. See, now somebody in chat asked, Hawk, I need a mask, dropped by you. A mask for her is going to be a different mask for any other character who uses one.
Guess I'm out of your league.
My Miss Marvel has gotten really fun to play today. She's come up in level to 12 and she's got some fun abilities. This bolt pierces. That ability does a really good amount of damage, and she was just a lot more fun to play in tonight. She wasn't getting her ass kicked in this area, so I didn't have to just sit there on my Daredevil. Hulk, for his level, I know it makes sense. It's like, duh, it's the Hulk, but he did a tremendous amount of damage in those earlier levels, and I found that his AoE ground punch was just mowing everything down. It wasn't really much that was going to get in his way. So as you can see here, my Miss Marvel is just piercing through. There's a Scarlet Witch character over there. There's a Hydra event boss that you can fight over here. Madam Hydra popped, and she pretty much got swarmed. She was tough, but about 5 or 6 people were able to beat her down. Now, there is one negative thing that I've discovered about the game, and it's probably just my slightly aging PC, but when you get into pretty heavy firefights and you've got a lot of people on your screen, hitting your abilities, your special abilities, tends to not quite register as well as your left and right mouse button clicks. You'll often find yourself sitting there, you know, going through your standard left click and right click punches and everything, and you'll be like, hello, ability, like knock these guys down. And it's a little slow to respond, but that's probably due to the age of my PC, but it would be a little bit nice if that tended to respond better. Or if the game had something where it was basically like, oh, he hit an ability, that takes precedence. Let's stop the basic punching and let's get that ability out. So that's what she's using as a right click right now. Stellar Beam, it used to be Photonic Blast, it's now that. Her flight is pretty cool. I think I'll dump a point in there. It's kind of nifty. It doesn't really do much, but it's fun to just sit here and do this. I like this. And here's a little mini event going on over here.
Next stop, prison cell.
See that experience that I got over there? That's because I saved a bunch of civilians from the Hydra guys essentially mugging them. So, alright, there is what might be the last look that I'll be able to do for Marvel before it ends tomorrow. And so far, yeah, I can definitely recommend this game for people when it comes out. It's going to be a lot of fun, especially if you're able to get several characters that you really want to play with. I had no issue, and it might just be because it's the beta, but I had no issue dropping a little bit of the credits to get Miss Marvel, and initially picked her to have a slightly different experience than the melee-oriented Daredevil that I had. And we've got another little event starting over here, so here you go. Here's the hero list again. If you go to the website, it'll tell you if the heroes that you're looking at are drops or in a founder's pack or initial heroes and everything. And I think it's kind of cool that I found a Hulk. I mean, that's, to me, that's amazing. I found a character in a game as a drop. So, I hope you enjoyed this look at the crafting system here in Marvel, and consider playing the game when it comes out. Take care, everybody.